Hello everyone, and welcome to a type of video that we have not done for a long time. Too long. It's been way too long. It is going to be a thrift with me kind of day. Also, happy Thursday to you, by the way. So I am out. Today for me it's actually Wednesday, and I am out right now on the beaten path, hunting out Goodwills. I did actually on Monday go to the bins, and I did get some thrift with me footage. A lot of you often request bins thrift with me's, and unfortunately those are pretty difficult to do. Our bins is like the only place that we go that's like strict on filming. They've had issues with people doing live selling shows and stuff there, which I will admit is pretty crazy. I would never do something like that, but they have kind of gotten a little crabby about filming, so we don't often do them now, but every once in a while, like today, I am able to sneak a little bit of footage. I'm gonna show you that in a second here, but I just thought I would say hi first versus just jumping into it. I am actually in real time, once we're done with the bins, going to a Goodwill that is a little further out, one that we don't get to very often. There are no sales today or anything, so that's kind of unfortunate, but it's fine. Our Goodwills don't really have sales super often anyways. Of course, on my hunt, I'm looking for anything fall. I haven't even really been looking at like dress sections almost at all lately. I've been looking at shoes, I've been looking at sweaters, I've been looking at jackets, blazers, outerwear. Actually, our Goodwills and our thrift locations nearby have just been adding out their like coats and more outerwear leaning jackets, if that makes any sense, over the past like 2 weeks, because I've stopped at a couple off camera, obviously. And so that's one of the main sections that I'm definitely going to be looking at, because it's also very fresh inventory if they've just been starting to kind of add out the entire section. Though, of course, I am also going to be looking at jeans and denim. I have been having such good luck with denim lately. I feel like all the denim trends, besides barrel maybe, are decently attainable, like classic slightly wider straight jeans and like wide jeans. I feel like that's not as hard to find as when there's very like niche trends, like think back to 2 years ago, was it, when it was like crossover waistlines? Like there's no thrifting that because it was a micro trend. But these are more standard kind of classic trends, and so they are easier to find. I'm gonna be looking at the full denim section anywhere that we stop. I also will be looking at pants, and I also will be looking at skirts kind of like briefly. Also, I'm sorry, I'm on a very bumpy road, so if this has been shaking, my phone is supposed to have something that helps with like shaking and it corrects itself, but if this has been shaky at all, it's because this road is so bumpy. Anyways, I am also going to be looking at skirts somewhat. I only really have luck with midi maxi skirts, and even then it's very specific kind of materials and styles, so I don't spend too much time in the skirts, but I'll definitely take a peek. I'm excited to see what the thrift stores have in store for us. As you guys know, fall is my favorite season to thrift in at regular Goodwills and thrift stores by far, so I'm actually quite excited to go here, even though it is pricier than the bins. Speaking of the bins though, first up, let's head to the bins, and then I will catch you guys once I get to Goodwill. All right, bins, here we go. I've got 3 IKEA bags here, and I am ready to grab a lot. I need to not only get stuff for me to sell, but also to consign. When I walked in, a shoe rotation was just happening, so of course I had to get in line, and one thing I found was the world's largest straw hat. This is wild. I actually did find many shoes too. Here's kind of a peek at them, and shockingly, for a lot of them, I did find their matches, so that is fantastic. Also, here's a better look at that giant hat. Look at how huge it is. I just can't get over it. Next up, I moved on to some clothing. I didn't even have time to look through my shoes and show you guys yet what I got. The clothing rotation happened pretty quick, so of course I rushed over to see what I could find. In the fall, I go for flannels and knits right away, and then later move on to checking the other stuff. This sweater was very confusing. It felt nice, like it was probably wool, so I did take a peek, and it's Sync-Sept. It is not Sync-A-Sept, it is Sync-Sept. I don't know if this is a knockoff or something, but it seemed maybe vintage. Then I found this skirt with the lace trim to it. I look at all these and possibly grab them for Ryan. This is one I will be grabbing because it's actually a vintage Natori piece. Okay, finally we can take a closer look at my shoes. So I found these really cool Sam Edelmans. I wanted to give them a Google to make sure they were worth picking up, and they were in the end. I found this Sturgis hat for Ryan from 2003. I found a single Barbour loafer. I found these really weird Born slides that I'm just going to consign. They're in really good shape, and I could see them doing well at my turnstile. I found this belt that's all embroidered that I will be giving to Ryan. This Puma fanny pack I'm going to consign. I only found a single of this J. Crew ballet flat, unfortunately. I found a couple kids' shoes of brands that I just didn't recognize, so I grabbed them so I could look them up later or possibly look for the second one. I also found this Smartwool hat and later on found the matching scarf, which is great. I found a few hats. Sometimes I'll grab ones that are wool or leather or something and just give the brands a Google later. This one said made in Italy, but it didn't have a brand in it. I also found some Manolo Blahnik pumps, and I did find both of those, so that was a huge score. These Tiva slides are something that I will pick up for Ryan. They were sold at Urban Outfitters. This is too chewed, so it doesn't really matter what it was. I threw that back. And actually, I did find both Barbours. At first, I'd only found one, and I didn't realize that by the time I filmed this clip, I had found the second one. I found this pair of Sorels also. They weren't in the best shape, and I was kind of hoping to consign them, and the consignment store wouldn't take them in their condition, so I did put them back. I know somebody else will take those. I found a single of that Madden girl that I would like to consign, and here is my second Manolo. And I found a single of this Kate Spade flat. Now to go through my clothing, and here is a look at the clothing and where we sit. I only have the Smartwool to sell myself, but I also did find this for Love and Lemons and this St. John. It is a bit dirty, but I do believe I can clean it. The other clothing I found was consignment finds, which is fine. I do need quite a bit each week to consign. Okay, just kidding. This dress was also an item that I found to sell myself, this Peruvian Connection. I'll show it to you in the haul closer, but it is so pretty. This was Ryan's college, so I sent him a picture thinking he wouldn't want this, but he actually did. Maybe if there's a spirit week at school or something, he could wear this. One of my really good bins buddies who had moved away, Cinda, was back visiting, so she actually came to the bins and she threw me these. One is a soft surroundings dress and one is a Sandro Paris sweater. She is such a joy. There was actually another shoe rotation already, and yes, I found this vest in the shoe rotation. It's by a brand called Golia. It looked to be promising, but anyways, back to the shoes. I found this pair of Zara ballet flats that are actually kind of ballet looking with that satin pink material they're made of. These should do super well. This Wilfred was also in the shoes, though this was pretty dirty, so I did pass on that. I found this pair of Nordstrom brand flats, again, like a ballet style. I think I'll consign those. Plus I found some slimmer sneakers like these Reeboks. I only found one though, and I never found the second one. And then I found this Zara sandal. Again, this is a single that I don't really care if I find the other. This was just some wool slipper that I only would look up if I found the other one. And then I found a pair of very trendy Pumas, though as you can see they are in horrible condition, so those did go back. Plus I found a single Prada. I never ended up finding the other, which is such a bummer, but I did find the pair of these weird clogs. I obviously was drawn to these because of how funky they are, and they were not drawn to me because they literally fell to the ground. They're by a brand called XOCOI, which I don't even know how that would be pronounced, but they look to be pretty promising. They caught my attention also because they said made in Italy on the bottom. I still gotta do some better research into those. I also found this Alexander Berman pair of boots. That's an expensive brand, but it doesn't always do that great. So on to another clothing rotation, and they're actually doing 2 rows at once right now. This is my very full shoe bag, and under it is all of the clothing I'm going to sell myself so far. I found a pair of Dolce & Gabbana D&G pants in the last rotation. They're just plain black, but I definitely will do something with them. I'm not going to skip them in the bins. I have some more clothing to sort through, and then I'm going to run back to the rotation because I needed to empty my arms. My next find was this Ralph Lauren sweater vest. It has all those Western-inspired colors to it, so it's definitely a style I would love to sell myself. I will definitely be grabbing this. I found what looked to be just an acrylic plaid scarf. There's so many of these at the bins. Then I noticed this lace section in the middle, and it is a Free People kimono shrug. Honestly, not that surprising. In yet another shoe rotation, I found these really nice Sorel boots. I also found these Michael Kors boots. These are just to consign, but I'm actually really excited about the Sorels, which it's been a hot minute since I've been excited about Sorel. Also, a bunch more clothing that I need to sort through, including this blazer that I grabbed kind of for myself. I tried it on, and all of a sudden I was like, what is in the pocket? Oh, a mysterious tape recording that I definitely need to hold on to and try to listen to. Here is a look at my cart. We did pretty good today. Let's move on to Goodwill now. Oh, I just love seeing that sign. Of course, the first section I had to check when I got in there was the outerwear. For a second, I was like, hold on, is that a Forever 21 leather jacket? No, of course, it's faux leather, but it looked kind of convincing. Anyways, on to the jackets and coats, my favorite section of the store. The first thing to catch my attention was this jacket by a brand called Preview. Not really sure what considered in London means. It doesn't say made in London, it says considered in London. But I looked it up and one person had it listed for $50, which I thought was a little too risky, so I didn't pick it up. This cabbie jacket was honestly pretty cute. I definitely would not pay $12.99 for it though. However, this Abercrombie & Fitch blazer was $8.99, and this is definitely one that I will consider. Step right up, folks, step right up, and let's quiz ourselves on some Ann Taylor. So, which of these 3 Ann Taylors is a newer label and which ones are older? Contestant number 1, size 16, gray blazer. Contestant number 2, size 16, black blazer. And contestant number 3, also gray blazer, size 14. The correct answers are these 2 grayer blazers are more modern. Now, which of the 2 is Jack going to consider picking up? If you guessed blazer number 1, you're correct. This is definitely the cutest style in my opinion and a good size, so I wanted to consider it. On to the shoes now. Let's take a peek together and just see what kind of shoes we can see. First up, Steve Madden's that have some staining to them, so those will be a no. Really, I'm just kind of looking for any shoe that looks like it would be real leather because most of these definitely aren't. These were pretty fun altered state shoes. I would have picked these up at the bins to consign. The sandal section is shrinking, which makes a lot of sense as we move into the cooler months. They kind of separate by category. This is more the loafer and clog section. They had these Sam Edelman loafers. I do like this style. I've sold it quite a few times, but I would not pay $11 for them. I know there are quite a few people that like to sell this brand, Allegria. My mother has had some good luck with it. I don't honestly know if I've ever tried it, but I think I'll have to pass on these. Maybe at the bins I'd get them. This looks like a shoe Ryan would sell with this zipper detail all over. Very vintage Y2K. The next aisle is boots, so of course I'm paying closer attention in this aisle. Again though, I'm mainly looking for shoes that look to be leather, and again, even in the boots, most of them are very obviously not real leather. I did find this pair of sneakers with skulls all over it, so of course it caught my attention, and they are by Torrid. $9 isn't too bad, but Torrid anything just doesn't really do that well for me. I found this pair of pajamas, and I so wish this was a better brand because I love this print. It is so unique. It has whales and sea fish and seaweed and stuff all over it. This was a cute dress that caught my attention. It's actually by Marissa Webb, which is a decently more expensive brand. I believe this is a Saks Off 5th tag. It was $75 there, but originally $350. I won't be getting it though. It's not the best style. On to the jeans now, where I'm hoping to honestly have my most luck. I could tell right away from the back that these were Hudson's, but they're 20 and they're not a good style. This pair caught my attention solely based on style. They're wide leg and they have a drawstring to them. They're by something called Anywhere, which I had never heard of. I looked it up and it seems to be a boutique brand. Actually, some of the comps weren't too bad, so I'd maybe try these if they were in the bins, but I'm not willing to pay the Goodwill regular price. These are a pair of pistolas, and this is an example of pistolas that you should not be grabbing. This was a pair of Maguire jeans. I haven't found Maguire jeans in so long. I actually kind of like the style of these ones, but they have the slightest spandex waving, so that is a no. Then I found these kind of utility printed pants. They were in the jeans section. They were $9 and they were by Pilcrow. I considered them and I looked them up and the comps weren't that great, so I did skip those. Then I moved on to the men's shirts, and in the men's shirts I found this soft surroundings tunic or maybe mini dress. It was priced at $13. I wouldn't have got it even at a cheaper price, but it was funny that it was in the men's. Plus, I sent Ryan a text to see if he wanted this Gap shirt, but he said it would be too small. Overthinker. That is a very me sweatshirt. This pair of J. Crew pants seemed promising because of the material, and then I realized this was a really old pair, so I decided to pass on these, and they're a size 00, which would make them nearly impossible to sell. Then I moved on to the skirts, and here's kind of a trick for me at least. When I look at skirts, I look at the bottom and I only really pay attention to the maxi or possibly longer midi skirts. I don't even honestly waste my time for the most part with shorter ones. Unless I have a lot more time to kill, then maybe I'll flip through them. But if I'm just trying to go quickly, I only want to see the long skirts. So if they seem to hit almost the floor and they look like a better material, I will check them. This one was by David Meister, which actually is a higher end brand, but it doesn't do very good. It's kind of like the brand Robert Rodriguez, where it just doesn't really have a following, and I think it's kind of older. You never know. There might be somebody out there who's going to Goodwill looking specifically for a large print of Johnny Depp as Captain Jack. The first sweater to catch my attention was this J. Crew. This is what I think they call their teddy sweater. These don't do that great, I think, because they're quite common and they get pilly so easily, so I usually skip them. I also found this Varley sweatshirt, but Varley really doesn't do that well for me, so I skipped that too. So we were on to the next Goodwill. Honestly, hopefully we can have a bit better luck here. I don't feel like we did super well at the first one. There were new racks rolling out as soon as I walked in, and so of course I went there first. I found this marine layer tee for $7. Unfortunately, nowadays that's a little too steep for marine layer, but I did find this pair of a Goldie shorts. These were $7. That is a good deal for these, and I also think they might have been sold at Free People, so those I will get. I found this Air Jordan t-shirt. It looked older and maybe like it could be rare. I know nothing about this stuff, so I tried to Google it, but I have no clue. And then this was kind of the same situation. This one looked even older and it was 11. I don't know. I tried Googling it, but I don't think these were anything special. At this location, I decided that I wanted to check the jeans first. First up, I noticed some Paige jeans, but of course they're skinny, so that's an instant no. Madewell jeans are marked up pretty high at my Goodwills. Also, again, most of the ones you find are skinny. These AG jeans were also skinny leg. I spotted these Athletas. Actually, there were two pair of Athletas. I used to have some luck with these, but this is kind of like Madewell. They mark them up and they don't do that well anymore, so it's kind of like a lose-lose. These Citizens jeans were also skinny and very old, so that is a label of Citizens you should not be grabbing. These Judy Blues, I probably would have grabbed at the bins because they were wide leg. I have maybe tried Judy Blue once or twice, and I know some people like selling her stuff, but I definitely won't be grabbing these here. Here is another example of Pistola jeans that you should not pick up. They actually remind me of the other ones we saw. So on to the outerwear. The jeans and denim was kind of a flop. And actually the outerwear was a total flop too. So this was after I had looked and I decided to move on to the shoes. There was a pair of Jimmy Choo peep toe pumps. I was quite surprised to see these, but they were not in good shape, so I didn't pick them up. I just was kind of shocked to see them here. This was such a throwback. These instantly caught my attention. No, not because they're something good, but they are Calvin Klein strappy, kind of almost ribcage looking heels. They remind me of Alexander McQueen, to be honest. But anyways, this is one of the first pair of shoes I ever sold as a reseller. Here is a look at my listing. This was way, way back. It was actually on my kitchen counter in my first apartment. This was such a trip down memory lane. Catch me in the Goodwill shoe section crying. Anyways, so I did not pick up those Calvin Klein pumps. I continued looking and I found these Bagley Mishka heels. I actually would have considered these. They have a very pretty crystal detailing at the back, but of course they were missing a few crystals, so I decided not to. I probably would get these at the bins though. Next to the shoe section is the dress section, and this very, very heavily embellished dress caught my attention, so I took a closer look, and it's by Mainline Aiden Maddox, which is a very expensive brand. Though it doesn't resell super well, it can be consigned for quite a bit, like at the Real, and so I actually for $7 did grab this. This must be a new Misguided label, I guess, so don't be fooled. This is definitely the same Misguided brand. It's a cute style, but not one to pick up. Another newer Ann Taylor label. This was $13, and it's a moto jacket style, which I don't have the best luck with, so I didn't pick this up, though it was definitely a nicer Ann Taylor piece. Last year around the holiday season, I actually did sell this Old Navy blazer, and it did pretty decent, but it only went for $30. These Point Sur corduroy pants were pretty cute, and they were a decent style, but Point Sur hasn't been doing as well for me lately, so again, something I'm not going to get here, but I probably would grab at the bins. Leave it to a section labeled Ugly Prom to be the only place that I find something worthwhile. So I found this metallic ruffly dress by Ricky Freeman Terry John, which is a very expensive fancy dress brand. This is honestly a really cute piece from them, and I will be getting it even for $15. Okay, I feel like for the most part, we could have done better. Sourcing, thrifting for sure, but it wasn't terrible. So actually, let me update you on one of the items that I just grabbed. So that Terry John dress, I was a little iffy on it because obviously it was $15, but I know that brand is really expensive, and sometimes the RealReal even marks it up like really high, over $200 high sometimes, which is pretty good. That's a big payout from them. So I wasn't sure what I would do with it. I was like, maybe I could consign it, maybe I could sell it myself. Either way, I'm not gonna lose money. Yes, I'm paying $15, but I know that I'm like safe with that pay up. I just looked it up, and let me put in a picture right next to me. That dress goes for $810 on their website right now. Like, still in stock, exact same dress. I have some threads on the bottom hem to cut off, but otherwise it's in great shape. There's a little bit of makeup that is like super easy to get off. So now I'm much more confident in that find, and I feel like it's pretty good. And I am gonna sell it myself, I think. I've never tried that brand myself, but I do wanna try it myself because it's a modern, current style. Someone could be wanting it and not want to pay $810, and I'm happy to supply them it for much less than that. I think I'm done for today because I just have other stuff I need to get to doing. So that's all for today. I will see you guys. Apparently I accidentally hit the stop recording button a little too quickly, but thank you guys so much for watching and going thrifting with me as per usual. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the future. I would be happy to do more of them, especially during this wonderful fall season. And I will see you guys when you choose to see me next. Goodbye.